Guys, welcome back to the channel. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It is Sunday. Sunday fun day. I'm off from work today, guys. We survived the storms. It was pretty rough last night, let me tell you. Wind was blowing, our lights went off. It was crazy. I hope if any of you guys were in that storm, I hope you guys made it out okay. It was pretty wild. Tornado watches everywhere, but thank goodness we are fine this morning. Getting ready for my Sunday fun day with my husband and my mother-in-law. We're going out to Southern Thrift. Guys, you know I love that, going thrift shopping. I talk to you guys all the time about it. I love it. So I'm going out there today. I'm getting ready now. But as promised, today is part 3 of Gypsy exposing herself or you know, busting her narrative. So I wanted to make sure I got this out here to you today. Didn't want you to wait until I went back to work tomorrow. So, as promised, I have got the last part of it, and here we go.
Unfortunately, there is a 50% chance that I may pass this genetic condition to my children. Thankfully, we are monitoring Aurora quite diligently, and so far, the geneticist has said that she does not display any of the characteristics of this condition. What does this mean for the possibility of having more children going forward? I really don't like the idea of the possibility of continuing to play Russian roulette with the possibility that my child may end up having this genetic condition. My child can grow up living a perfectly normal life with the condition, or they can display the characteristics and the conditions that are correlated with the genetic condition. And that's just something that I really don't want to play with. That's something that I don't want to leave up to chance. Not if I can help it. So most likely we will have to do something like IVF so we can narrow down and actually select the genes of our future children to make sure they don't have this microdeletion. So with that knowledge that it can be passed down from parent to child, where did I develop it? So my father was tested for this deletion and he did not have it. He came back negative. And unfortunately, we can't test my mother. So 2 things could have happened. I could have developed it from my mother and she could have passed it down to me, or it could have been a mutation within myself that it developed. So with that being said, there is a very big possibility that as a child, I could have displayed health conditions that caused my mother to be very concerned, and therefore perpetuating Munchausen by proxy. Munchausen by proxy often will begin with something very small, a small health concern that often the parent will exacerbate and make bigger, often leading to further abuse later on down the line. So going into that, I really want people to be vigilant and recognizing the signs of Munchausen by proxy. I understand that it is very difficult to kind of peg down, especially it's kind of like you don't want to question a parent, especially one that displays such concern, because you think that it's out of love. You think that it's out of protection of that child, of their child. But in my case, it wasn't that way. So that's why I do my best to advocate for Munchausen by proxy awareness. Kind of going back into the microdeletion condition that I have. You know, I've seen a lot of people think that just because I had all these surgeries that they were absolutely necessary because of the deletion. That is not true. That is a false narrative. So education is vital in understanding my story in particular. And if you are unaware of what Munchausen syndrome by proxy is, or by its other name, factitious disorder, it is a mental illness and a form of child abuse. It is when a parent or a caregiver will create symptoms or report serious illnesses to their pediatrician or their primary care doctor, and often the public, for sympathy and sometimes financial gain. And unfortunately, many children have died because of this, or have been left with lifelong consequences to their parent or guardian's actions. On the list of notable victims is myself included, Jennifer Bush, Olivia Gant, and Julie Gregory. Julie Gregory had wrote a book called Sickened. It is her own experience with her mother having Munchausen by proxy. Those are just some of the well-known cases of Munchausen by proxy, but there are so many more that don't get recognized. Thankfully, there is support. If you or someone you know might be suffering from Munchausen by proxy, there is a website that you can visit to get access to support and resources. Munchausensupport.com offers families and individuals with a safe place to go. So please, I encourage you, if you feel like you are being abused from this form of abuse, please go to this website. There is help and there is people that will listen.
So, it is so funny. She must think a lot of her mother, so that's just a joke. Because she is trying to say that her mother had a blueprint of this Munchausen by proxy, because I guess her mama knew that she had this disease, this chromosome disorder, before she even tested positive for it. That to me was a little crazy. I mean, she tested positive for this chromosome disease. What'd she say? 2012? 2012. But she was born in 1991. So I find that as pretty crazy. And also, if you look at her medical records, once her mother found out that's what she had, all the doctor's visits stopped. They stopped. It said in there, once they found it out, her mom was fine. They knew what they were dealing with. And you know, what's going along with that? Her mama, when she was little, did not know what she was dealing with. She loved Gypsy. And she was trying to do the best that she could for Gypsy. So when she had a seizure, she took her to the doctor or the hospital. The wheelchair was not for her to be in it all the time. It was for her to be in it when she got tired because her muscles were weak. And I just would still love to know what many surgeries was it that she didn't need. I mean, her eyes still messed up even after all the surgeries that she had. In my opinion, she probably needs more, but hey, my opinion is just like everybody else's. We all have one. The one on her leg to see if she had muscular dystrophy. Wasn't that needed to rule out that she had muscular dystrophy? And then she wants to come out that she wanted to say that she has been advocating for Munchausen by proxy. Guys, Is it gaslighting? Is that what she's doing? Is it gaslighting? That's what I think it is. Because she has not done any of that stuff. She has not advocated for anybody but herself. So I just don't really understand it. I don't understand why she, she's going to put a little bit of truth out there, but then she still lies. And so I think something's really weird. So they have a geneticist that's following her daughter that closely. I mean, you don't just develop this. That's what I don't understand. You don't just develop it. And we already know that her mother was tested for the chromosome disorder. It was Rod who was not ever tested because he was too busy and couldn't be found. He was too busy having children with other people. So I don't understand this whole narrative. But I know I did hear that 60 Minutes Australia or something has interviewed her. And that's what I'm wondering. Is this to get the narrative out? What before their show is aired? Is that what's going on? That's what I seem to think. Because we know that she has not advocated for anybody except for her wallet. But I just think her coming out with this is her getting ahead of something that's about to come out. That's really what I think that's happening. And we'll see it pretty soon. But what I think is funny, even with her coming out with some of the stuff that's true, she's still lying. She still lies. And it just makes me wonder, if her baby does have this disorder, is she going to go the opposite way than what her mother did? Is she going to just not have anything? Is she just not going to take Aurora to the doctor? And then talking about she's going to do the IVF treatment to have next baby. Are you going to have a next baby with this man that don't even care anything about you? That, to me is almost abusive is what he seems like to me. Is that what she's planning on doing? I don't know. I just think it's really weird. I just really think it's strange. And it just makes you wonder. And we know IVF is pretty expensive. Does she think that this gravy train is just going to go on forever? Does she think that people are still going to give her money forever? Because I'm telling you, if her story ever does reach mainstream, and people finally do realize that it's the truth, it's not just YouTubers saying it, I think things are going to change. And I just really don't think Gyp Dip and Kenyatta is prepared to get a job. Because I don't think they want to work. Could be wrong, but I just really don't think they want to. Guys, tell me what you think down in the comments. What do you think about this? Don't you think that something more is coming out? That's just what it feels like for me. But hopefully I'll get home in time. We can do a live this afternoon since I'm off from work. I love you. And guys, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I love each and every one of you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.